Our next guy is back from hiding in Mexico, and he wants to make a formal apology to you all. And he was the only advocate for my child labor rights. Here is Greene.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I just got off the boat from Mexico, and I'm hoping to get back to England very soon. They gave me this flower. They said, if you wear this flower and lay down on the boat, no, they'll think you're dead, and they won't try to kill you. So here I am, and I'm very happy. Now, you see, the Mexican government, it's not the people are wonderful, but the Mexican government, well, turns out they don't like Catholics. And so I had a rough go of it, all because of, a little thing that I wrote, and I apologize for it. And I wrote it down in this apology note to Shirley, as well as to 20th Century Fox and all offended, but you're welcome, and all offended parties. Oh, drat. Okay, this is not the apology. This is the review that I wrote. All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the review of Wee Willie Winkie, and I'm going to make my apologies as I go. So, here we are. Let me get I'm sorry, one moment. Let me get I'm all a mess. An American expatriate stole my razors, and I haven't been able to shave in a very long time, and he busted up my glasses. He said, "Get out of here, you fop!" And he threw me out of the bar, so I'm very much a mess. All right. The owners of a child star are like leaseholders, and I understand that's not good to say. I understand that now. I receive it and I accept it. Their property diminishes in value every year. Time's chariot is at their backs, before them acres of anonymity. What is Jackie Coogan now but a matrimonial squabble? And I apologize to Jackie Coogan, whose money was all stolen by his parents, which I shouldn't add in because now that's more apologies out to me. Miss Shirley Temple's case, though, has peculiar interest. Infancy with her is a disguise. Her appeal is more secret and more adult. And this is where it gets into problematic waters, I suppose, that caused 20th Century Fox to take up criminal charges against me, which is why I fled to Mexico, as it were. Already 2 years ago, she was a fancy little piece. Okay, I see now that is a problem, yes. Real childhood, I think, went out after the littlest rebel. In Captain January, she wore trousers with the mature suggestiveness of a Marlene Dietrich. I don't remember writing this. I really don't. Oh, my. Her neat and well-developed rump? Oh, Graham, come on now. Twisted in the tap dance, but this is no good at all. Her eyes had a sidelong searching coquetry. Now in Wee Willie Winkie wearing short kilts, she is a complete totsy. I mean, I'm not the one editing the work. I'm not the one saying it should go to publication, so I don't see how it's my fault. But you see, what I'm trying to say is that she's a very mature young woman, that she's very grown for her age. Watch her swaggering stride across the Indian Barrack Square. Hear the gasp of excited expectation from her antique audience when the sergeant's palm is raised. Watch the way she measures a man with agile studio eyes, with dimpled depravity. I'm starting to get where the concern was, and I'm thinking maybe they could have sued me for a little bit more here. What was my point? What am I trying to... Oh, here we are. Her admirers, middle-aged men and clergymen. There are any clergymen in the audience tonight? Okay, clergymen are, of course, of the utmost... Oh, here we go. There is a review, though. It isn't hard to stay to the last prattle and the last sob. The story about an Afghan robber converted by Wee Willie Winkie to the British Raj is a long way after Kipling, but we needn't be sour about that. Both stories are awful, but on the whole, Hollywood's is the better. So I understand the concern, but I did write a review. I mean, I did talk about the film. I understand the concern about, the young girl in question. Now, listen, I came here tonight partially to apologize, but secondly, I wanted to talk about some of my experiences all across the world Not Mexico, if you please. That was well, maybe one. You know what? I'll tell one story about Mexico. Here we are. Jose, I said. Jose, I said again. Jose, you simply must wake up. We have to go. But Jose never answered. He'd been stabbed 48 times by a child. So I didn't have a great time there, I guess is what I'm trying to get across. Listen, I'd like to talk about some different adventures. I've been all over the world. Please, ask me about a place. I'll tell you all about it. I've written 3 million books at this point in my life. I'm 38 years old. Fiji it is. This is one very small volume that holds all my books. Where are we? Okay, Fiji. Fiji it is. I had a Fiji water. I was not impressed. Allow me to explain. I've been all over the world and I've had many waters. I didn't, Fiji, it's just $2.50 for a bottle of water, no thank you. I buy Arrowhead bottles, 90 cents, for 2 gallons of water. Is it filtered? No. Are there rocks at the bottom? Yes. Do I get diseases? Huh. Have I had the runs 3 times today? Oh, maybe 4. We'll see. That's all I wrote about Fiji. What else? Where else would we like to travel with Greene?
Egypt.
Egypt it is. The Sphinx rose before me, there in the sand. She was a coquettish girl. Oh no, I'm repeating myself. You see, now I'm just saying the same things. I've lost my touch. Oh, but we move on. There is no longer a pharaoh in Egypt. That was a surprise to me. My history book did not really fill us in on it. I guess the whole thing about the British being imperialistic and not really caring about the world has a ring of truth to it. I apologize, world. And that's my trip to Egypt. Oh, I did buy a monkey. Turned out to not be a monkey, it was a very large spider. I was trapped in a web for 3 days. Let me skip to that part. I was in the web. It was the 3rd day. The spider said, Graham, listen, if you're not going to hear my screenplay, I'm not going to let you out of this web. And I said, I've heard too many screenplays in my life. I had to listen to Orson Welles explain the screenplay to a third man, which I wrote to my face for 14 hours on a flight. The flight was stalled mid-air because Orson asked them to stop so that he could explain more. The spider said, I understand, and set me free. We're best friends, we vacation. Where else shall we go on a little adventure? Dublin it is. I've been to Dublin twice in my life. Let's talk about the first time. I am in Dublin. It is raining. I hate Dublin. And let's talk about the second time. Why did I come back to Dublin? What have I done with my life? Graham Greene, you've done it again. You've found yourself, after a drunken bender, holed up in some Dublin hotel with a woman who looks faintly like your wife. What are you going to do now? And so I, Graham Greene, went to the pub and had a single pee, and then I threw it up and I said, Dublin sucks, and I left. So that's time 2. And I don't actually know that it was Dublin. As I said, I was very drunk. And then they put a bandana over my eyes and they put me in a crate. Shirley knows what I'm talking about.
It's pretty fun.
Yes, it's a good time. On her first visit to the MGM studios, they said, if you misbehave, we'll put you in this crate and you'll sit on a block of ice. And she said, sounds good to me. And her mother said, it's the money that matters. So Shirley's had a good life. Listen, everyone, I have many more adventures to tell. But I want you to explore your own now. Don't go to Dublin. Don't go to Mexico. Don't go to Cairo. The only place you should go is next door to borrow a cup of sugar. Otherwise, the world is a horrible place. Thank you so much.